I'm Architect R.
And I'm Architect B.
Today, we are so proud of presenting you the very first episode of Popache by mementt.corporation. It's about a lovable character who is Rayman. We are the two main operators of this project, and the objective here is to be as serious as fun. At mementt, none of us get to be the boss, except for, well, le boss, our boss, of whom we aren't allowed to talk about. Never ever.
Yeah, right. Good job about that.
Well, so, for Popache, aside from him, we take orders from no one. Also, we've heard from a very trusted source that he wants a little more subscriber. So be better and go get subscribed.
Yeah! Go get subscribed!
Yeah, listen to him, man or woman. But jokes aside, let's see the opening for this project.
So, why did we choose Rayman? We wanted to start with a personal choice, a character that comes from our roots, a French video game icon that reminds us of simpler times. But also someone who's perfect for a proof of concept. What we're aiming for is a mix of realism and surrealism to create beautiful design that questions the boundaries of space and logic. Rayman may be a bit of a niche character these days, but with his soon-to-be return to the screen, we ask ourselves, what if Rayman actually lived among us? With his friends? If you remember correctly, in 2006, during the Raving Rabbit games, Ubisoft, the dev team behind Rayman, actually brought him into the real world. Which implies another simple question. How do we design for Rayman? To approach this architecture, we built a diagram based on essential questions and components. Who's the character? What are his demands and what's the budget? What is the site? What is the architectural structure and program? And finally, what is the architectural references and style? We are going to answer all those questions. So let's dive into the very first episode of Popache.
Rayman is the main character of a platformer series created by Michel Ancel for Ubisoft. Since the first game in 1995, the franchise has released 45 titles. The world of Rayman is whimsical, magical, natural, and deeply tied to certain themes, like the eraser planes, which are made entirely of stationery. The world itself is called the Glade of Dreams, which is La Croisée des Rêves in French. Rayman is a limbless magical being, known for his courage, being a shield guy, and his tendency to fight evil when needed. He is helped by his friend, going from a giant blue frog to a small mosquito, and together they protect the world from villains born from the nightmare of Polocush, the Bubble Dreamer. He is a frog-like god of the Glade who literally smokes bubble from a hookah to create dreams.
Hey, it's kind of like our boss.
Yes, he's a little less powerful, a little more bubbly, but certainly more of a hippie. So, Rayman, like his friend, is kind of a wacky character. They are laid back, except for Barbara, who is a warrior princess, fiery and powerful. From what we know, beneath all the chaos, all the battles, the nightmares and the world saving, where they are not busy being heroes, they are doing many activities, such as dancing, fishing or water skiing. They come from very different worlds, they have different personalities, but at the end of the day, they always come back to sit at the same table. They are a family. And that's it for this short presentation. Before we continue, let's do a bit of an interlude and see a quick recap of Rayman Evolution as an homage to his great saga.
See you in Rayman 4!
That was a great homage.
Yeah, I loved it too. I hope Ubisoft will really grant us a new IP to put in it. And I cross my finger it won't get cancelled. This time.
Now, let's continue and see. What are Rayman's demands? As a unique client, Rayman's wishlist is anything but ordinary. He's looking for a peaceful spot in Paris that still gives him a strong connection to nature. Something that feels close to both land and sea. And to be honest, it will be difficult to find in the heart of the city. As said earlier, Rayman never lives alone. He's always surrounded by his friends. 7 of them in total, all widely different sizes. We are talking about teenies who are little people living next to Globox, a big giant frog-like creature whose legendary butt is their size. So, they need enough space to move around freely without stepping on each other. Rayman wants to share. There will be no individual rooms. Togetherness is key. Since they love to party, cook, laugh and share, they need a huge living area. Another must-have for him? A large dedicated space to store and showcase all the incredible objects he's brought back from his many adventures. Like a personal museum full of memories. But to be situated near the water in the French capital is quite expensive.
Indeed, that's very demanding. So let's see what is their budget.
Hey, it's an excellent transition.
Thank you, man. You're always here to spew roses at me. Well, Rayman doesn't look rich. He's simple. Sleep under trees, beatbox with his friends, anything a shy guy do. But in Rayman 2, he could have become fat and rich by choosing the bad ending. Instead, he saves the world, and we respect that. Still, in Rayman Origins and Legends, he collects hundreds of gold coins, and those coins are huge. That's quite the means to get by. So basically, we think that he's even rich. But he didn't change. He still lives free, naps in the field, smells flowers. He's chill. Just look at him.
Yeah, he's chill. Until you take a look at Captain Laserhawk.
Wait, what? What is that?
Nothing. It wasn't in the tribute, just Rayman changed. A lot. He's still cool, but yeah, he's like some kind of, well, drug addict, corporal, schizophrenic dude now. But well, forget it. Focus.
Okay, that's weird. I guess. Anyway, we decided his budget is unlimited.
Now that we know that Rayman can afford any site, which one did we choose? For an adventurous character like Rayman, but also a chill dude, the idea was to find a natural site for his retreat, not too far from the dynamism of the urban world. In that sense, placing the project on an island became a natural and relevant choice. We choose the Île de Puteaux for its natural composition, but also for its location right next to La Défense. It's the largest business district in Europe. This unique contrast between tranquility and urban intensity makes the island an ideal place for Rayman retreat. We also choose the upper side of the Île de Puteaux because of its easy access from Pont-de-Neuilly. It's a literal island on the Seine with trees, parks, pools, playgrounds, and sports fields. Rayman can chill in nature, and his dream bubbles might just float over to La Défense and calm down some stressed out workers. Also, the home design for Rayman and his friends doesn't just sit on land, it floats. Like a reimagined houseboat, the building hovers like a platform just above the water, connected to the island by a beautiful walkway. Most importantly, it's positioned on the northern side facing La Défense, and that contrast is intentional. On the one side, the sharp towering geometry of the business district. On the other, a freeform, organic, almost dreamlike architecture. This floating structure fits Rayman's vision perfectly. It's close to earth and water, set at peace yet still in touch with the world's pulse and the hustle of the city. Surrounded by nature and offering panoramic views of La Défense skyline and the park next to it, the space becomes a refuge somewhere between two realities. Now, let's take a quick look at a montage of some exterior view so that you can get a better idea of what we're saying.
Okay, that's it for the exterior. For now, let's delve into the interior. What is the architectural program? The ground floor, accessible from the Île de Puteaux, is entirely open. It's a trophy hall. This is where the team stores their collected treasures, rare objects, and mythical relics. It's a contemplative space floating between land and water. There is only one bed here, for the guests. On the first floor lies the beating heart of the house, around a central circulation hub, accessible via a central elevator, are the living areas. A large lounge and a living room, an open kitchen, a shared dormitory, and a bathroom with a gigantic bath, a water closet, and a welcoming entrance that links to the lower floor. Around it all, a 360 panoramic balcony wraps the structure, offering magnificent views. And if you ask how they can handle the cold near the water with such thin walls, we choose an heating floor. Some could think that's just too easy an answer, but it works. Finally, on the top floor, you will find the most mystical space, Polocus Dome. Suspended high above, this room is made for dreaming, meditating, and blowing his iconic bubbles. Quiet, elevated, and almost sacred is the space.
Lastly, what is the architectural references and structure? As a wacky character living in a wacky world, we wanted the structure to be as wacky as possible. To represent that way our thinking, we tried to exaggerate every features. Every. Cantilevers that go way past what's reasonable. Tension cables that are way too thin. Massive architecture placed on water made to feel light. But we tried to stay grounded. Even remote world follows the logic. Things rest on floors. Pillars exist. There's always a hint of structure. So, our goal: make an utopian design that feels exaggerated but still architecturally grounded. As we are unrestricted in terms of budget and a bit in terms of structure, we were inspired by experimental works. At first, we wanted to create a space with closes, interlaced, and tensile closes. Structures, and immediately thought of Ray Otto. He is an architect known for his lightweight, tensile, membrane-based structures, like the Munich Olympic Stadium roof. Then, we discovered his research on bubbles, and it instantly echoed with our favorite hippie Polocus and Rayman organic world. It was a perfect match.
Otto style is modern organic architecture. Organic architecture uses nature-inspired geometrical forms in design and seeks to reconnect the human with his or her surroundings. The Sagrada Familia Church by Antoni Gaudí, begun in 1882, is a well-known example of using nature's functional forms to answer a structural problem. He used columns that model the branching canopies of trees to solve statics problems in supporting the vault. That's the same technique nowadays with 3D printing support. That's why we made our building look like a bulb just above the Seine and played with organical forms in order to create an utopian space. It's not as sculptural as Gaudi, but we wanted something a bit more pure in terms of forms. Now, let's take a look at vernacular architecture. We were really inspired by your design, which are kind of a traditional architecture from Mongolia, Turkey, or Central Asian country. This circular architecture drove the architectural interior style with rattan and curtain for the second floor. Besides, the main menu in Rayman Legends is very old style inspired, so everything goes full circle. Finally, we were deeply inspired by the Project Atelier Garden Studio 1 in Berlin, Germany, made by MVRDV, where curtains delimitate spaces. We then designed the ground floor with this project in mind. Again, it was an echo to the menu of Rayman Legends, where the spaces are delimited with big pieces of cloth. And, well, that's all for the inspiration. Now that Rayman lives in the building, let's do a house tour.
So, that's the end of our first episode. Do not hesitate to share this little thinking experiment and click on the button subscribe. Or even better, tell us what you think about what we could improve. We hope you enjoyed this little journey through design, absurdity, and bubble logic. Whether you came for the character, the architecture, or the chaos, we are glad you joined us. Stay well, stay dreamy, stay weird like Rayman, and always remember, we are mementt, where fiction is our reality.